October 23rd TRC minutes. Do we have any changes to those minutes?
I don't see any revisions necessary, so I motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 23rd and October 7th as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, the 3 sets of minutes are approved. That will move. Do we have any further announcements, Christy, Rachel? We'll move right into project review. The first item on our agenda this morning is the Twin Palms. Well, tell you what, let's do. We've got a number of these that are being continued for the benefit of the public or folks that might be here expecting those items to be heard. Let's go ahead and take those continuances first. I think that would be item number 4, the Holly Grove subdivision. We have a request to continue to December 2nd, 2020 TRC.
Motion to continue.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Anna. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the December 2nd Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to number 8, the 393 and Nuit Lane minor development. We have a request to continue to December 16, 2020. Do we have a motion at the dais?
Motion to continue.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion is carried. This item is continued to the December 16, 2020 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Item number 9, we have a request to continue. I understand this may have been withdrawn. Could you confirm that for us, Stephen?
Yes, sir. The request for withdrawal of the application came in after the continuance memorandum was submitted, but yes, it is withdrawn.
Okay, then we'll entertain a motion to remove this item from our agenda.
I'll make a motion to remove this item from our agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to remove the Draper Lake PUD from the TRC agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item has been officially withdrawn. Moving to item number 11, Highway 283 commercial minor development. We have a request to continue to the December 2nd TRC meeting. Do we have a motion at the dais?
Motion to continue.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Anna. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is approved to continue to the December 2nd, 2020 Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Chair, can we get a clarification or correction to the agenda? I believe the minutes of October 21st were the ones we approved, and I think the agenda says October 23rd.
Well, it sure does. We'll entertain a motion to correct the approval of the October 21st minutes. Any further changes today?
That's
Thank
all
you
I
for
have.
noticing that. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Second at the dais?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed likewise. The correction to those minutes has been approved, correcting the date to October 21st. Thank you for that. I think now we're ready to go back to item number 2. The Twin Palm subdivision, major development. It's been reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, good morning. This is a major development order application submitted by Anderson Engineering requesting approval to develop a 25-lot, single-family residential subdivision and associated infrastructure on 5.08 acres with the future land use of residential and a zoning category of infill. It's located in Inlet Beach. With their resubmittal, they reduced this from 27 lots to 25 lots. There's still outstanding comments from planning, 911 addressing, and public works. When the staff report went out, I did not have Dewberry's comments. I've subsequently received them, so they've signed off. So we just have outstanding comments from those 3 departments. And with that, I will turn it over to the applicant, and I would like to submit the application into the record.
So moved. Anyone here representing the applicant?
Yes, Brian Osborne.
Good morning, Brian. Can you hear us?
Morning, guys. Yep, absolutely.
Could you state your name, spell your last name for the record, please?
Yeah, Brian Osborne.
You had a chance to see the technical review comments?
Yes, I have.
Have any concern about being able to address those?
No, I think everything was pretty minor. I don't think there's anything that was any kind of roadblock or anything like that. These will be pretty easily and quickly addressed.
One item that is outstanding in the planning comments is information regarding compliance with the Inlet Beach Neighborhood Plan. That is critically important to the approval of this project.
Okay.
And we can't move from TRC without that. That is a component of the Land Development Code also, and has the same weight of any other provision in the Land Development Code. We will either have great support for this project when we get to Planning Commission, or we'll have great support for this project. One direction or the other, but I expect folks in Inlet Beach will be interested, and I encourage you to be as prepared as possible. Do you have an idea when you might be able to resubmit? Or
I mean, we could resubmit. In the next couple of days. I mean, these are pretty minor stuff.
When is the resubmittal deadline for the next TRC?
It would be next Tuesday, but I won't be here that week. Well, actually, I will. November 18th. If we go to that meeting, I will be here, but it would be next Tuesday is when the staff report is due. The staff report is due next Tuesday for that meeting.
How soon do you think you can get it to us to give us time to review it, Brian?
By the end of this week.
Enough time, Tim?
Give me enough time. I don't know about, the other departments have 5 working days to approve it. I mean, I'll route it as soon as it comes in. Planning comments are the most critical in looking at the
I think
comments.
it's mostly just planning, like the plan and mapping stuff. It's just adding an east and west to the drives, and then the public works were just changing the curb and gutter. It's just changing the detail, changing the curb and gutter and the location of the sidewalk.
Yeah, so the planning comments are the most critical. So if you can get in by the end of the week, then we can probably make that.
Okay. Well, then entertain a motion to continue it to the next TRC. Would that be the appropriate meeting? November
Well-
18?
We'll try to make it work, that's all I can say. It depends on when he gets it in, and
All right, Brian, the quality of your resubmittal is critical as far as being able for us to meet this schedule. So get it to us as soon as you can, and we'll do our best to get it reviewed and are ready for the next TRC.
Understood, I appreciate it.
Any other questions? On any of the comments?
No, I do not.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Okay.
We'll entertain a motion to continue this to the November 18 Technical Review Committee meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion at the dais. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Anna. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item will be continued to the next TRC pending resubmittal of comments. It will get public hearings at the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners as a major development. Tim, that moves us to Big Fish Bike Rentals and Office Warehouse, minor development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce that one for us.
yes, thank you. This is a minor development order application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates requesting approval to construct a 4,350 square foot warehouse and 138 square feet of office with associated infrastructure on 0.45 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of VMU. Located on the north side of 30A, east of County Road 395. There's still outstanding comments from planning. That's the only, Public Works is deferring to planning, so that's the only outstanding. The biggest issue being the parking, removing the parking out of the 30A right-of-way and relocating it to a different location. That's the biggest outstanding issue remaining with this project. With that, I'd like to introduce the staff report into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant.
So entered. Thank you, Tim.
Good morning, Dean Burgess with Emerald Coast Associates. I've read through the staff report, and it looks like we're down to, as Tim had said, the one comment on shared parking. We've offered a shared parking agreement, and primarily that parking would be for employees of both businesses, the Big Fish Bike Rentals and Brazonis, to avoid having the general public crossing 30A. If we need to stipulate that as part of the agreement, we'd be happy to do that. I guess I'm looking for some guidance on what the county's needing to be included in the shared parking agreement. Essentially, what we're saying to do is the parking at the Donut Hut property would be offered for employees. That is where the employees of both businesses would park. So the general public would be able to utilize the spaces. Another comment I wanted to make was the on-street parking currently serves a non-conforming use. It's not our intent to alter or modify or change that non-conforming use. We understand that at some point in the future, those spaces may go away. This would preserve how that non-conforming use would be able to continue parking. But for the short term, those spaces are available now for the non-conforming use. In the future, we would ask that we'd be able to use those spaces until such time that the county, needed that right away. Then we have this agreement to put into place. But Mac or Tim, what I'm asking for is direction as far as how to respond to this. Are you looking for? Would it be acceptable for us to state that would be reserved for employee parking specifically?
Well, we still have the requirement of having it within 300 feet. How many of these spaces are within 300 feet?
I would have to measure it, and how is it measured? Is it property line to property line or front door to front door? I don't believe the code is specific on that.
I mean, have we looked at it both ways?
I have not rolled it off and looked at that. In our meeting, it appeared that there was some flexibility, especially if we were making this for employee parking. I understand the distance requirement is so that it's reasonable for somebody to walk that distance. If they're an employee, they're doing it when they go to work and when they leave work.
Well, I think this is the opportunity for us to address the parking concern there while we're trying to expand and improve the circumstance. And I recognize this is the applicant's desire to improve their operation and how it interfaces with the neighborhood. I'm still concerned about the parking. I think we may have addressed all of the other issues, or at least substantially. What about, there's a comment about the Donut Hut Plaza parking being deficient. Have you taken a look at that?
I would have to pull that development order. We've asked Jan for it, and we have not been able to get a copy of that development order. I have looked at the Donut Hut's square footage, and it does amount to the 4 spaces that would be allocated for them. As far as overall parking, I don't know whether that was done with a parking discount, what the parking rate was that was applied for that particular development order.
Tim, is there anything else outstanding other than these 4 planning comments of any consequence?
No, those are it. You know, Public Works' comment about wanting to remove the parking, but they would defer to our judgment. I don't believe we've been able to locate the development order for the Donut Hut. What I did was I took the square footage of the building that's provided by the property appraiser and divided it by the amount of parking that would require, and that's where I came up with it's short by 4 spaces. It's required to have 26, and they have 22 on site.
Why don't we do this? Since this is the remaining issue, and it's one that I'm not confident we can resolve today, but it may be resolvable. My suggestion, and I appreciate comments from both planning and applicant, that we conditionally approve this subject to resolving the parking issue at staff level.
All right. And we'd be happy to either have a phone meeting what I'd like to do is discuss how we would address it before we go ahead and respond to it. And that could be either in a phone call or an in-person meeting, if that's acceptable to staff.
Well, I'm certainly interested in resolving it so the project can move forward. I'm concerned about the resolution impacting an adjacent property and aggravating parking there. If we can get past all of that, that's our remaining obstacle in this project.
Agreed.
Since there aren't other outstanding TRC comments, I don't see any further reason to leave it at TRC, subject to the agreement to work together and figure out how we're going to resolve the parking.
All right.
As an outstanding condition of approval. I'll suggest a motion to approve, subject to the condition that the applicant and staff resolve the outstanding parking comments and the other additional comments from the planning department. We have a motion at the dais.
I'll make that into a form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Sammy. All in favor? Well, since this is a minor development, we'll take the opportunity to open a public hearing and invite any comments from anyone in the audience or anyone on Zoom regarding any aspect of this proposed development. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand. If you're in the audience, please raise your hand. I see no hands in the audience, and I see no hands on Zoom. So we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion at the dais. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order subject to satisfaction of the outstanding condition.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Tim. This moves us to item number 5, the South Walton Town Center mixed-use development. It's a major development reviewed by Stephen Schoen. Stephen, if you can introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. Good morning. This is a major development order application submitted by David Forstrom, PE, on behalf of Connie Bailey, requesting approval to develop 92 townhome units, a restaurant, and mixed-use structure containing commercial and limited lodging on 11.3 plus or minus acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of Town Center 1. The project site is located about a half-mile west of the intersection of Chat Holly and Highway 331. It can be identified by the parcel numbers in your staff reports, which I would like to enter into the record, please.
So entered.
Thank you. There are some outstanding planning and engineering comments. There was, however, a very recent resubmittal. Staff had opportunity to do a cursory review, and it appears based on that limited review that many of the comments, if not all of the planning comments at least, have been satisfied. The engineer is here to answer any questions. If you have none for me, I'll turn it over to him.
Thanks, Stephen. Good morning, David.
Good morning. David Forstrom, Forstrom. As Stephen said, we had, I feel like we've addressed the review comments with planning and engineering, or very close to it. There may still be some minor notational issues, but if there are, we can move very quickly to address those. And I guess I'll defer to Bill as far as engineering comments.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I have not had a chance to review. I think we received the information this week. So I had quite a few outstanding comments, and I haven't had a chance to look at them prior to this meeting.
Okay. We've got a resubmittal that we think it may substantially address the comments. But there are a big list of them. Do we think we have time to get it reviewed before Tuesday's deadline for staff report?
Yes, sir.
Stephen? We have time to get it reviewed before Tuesday's deadline?
I have no doubt. From my perspective, certainly.
Okay.
Yep.
I would suggest we continue this to the next TRC and see where we are. Is that good for you?
Yes, I guess there's no possibility of approving with conditions based on, at this point.
Well,
Just asking, I understand.
all of the conditions would be everything in the staff report. That's a
Right.
big list.
I feel really confident we've got everything addressed, but I can't say 100%. I can very quickly jump on them, and I don't know what the planning commission, notification time frame is. I'm just saying that's, if there's any way that was possible.
December 10th deadline for resubmittal is going to be What date would that be? Get staff reports complete. Staff report's gonna be due on the 1st of December. If we moved it on December 18th, they could still be advertised for December 10th. How do you feel? Do you think it needs to come back to TRC or?
Based on what I've seen in the resubmittal, planning comments, I think can, or have been addressed. There are quite a few outstanding engineering comments. I know based on our conversations that we've had with the applicant, he's indicated that he can satisfy them. However, if Bill's not comfortable with moving it forward this time, then we should take it to the 18th.
Well, if we did approve it conditionally, it'd be the first time we conditionally approved something with 19 outstanding engineering comments. So I would rather we don't conditionally approve it and continue this to the next one to give me an opportunity to look over these comments. There's a handful that deal with the drainage calculations, so I want to be sure that those are correct, and I would feel more comfortable that we continue this one more time, and I can get my review completed prior to the staff report being due next Tuesday.
Why don't we continue it to the 18th? If it's approvable at that point, we'll still have time to advertise it for the December planning commission. Our schedule. This is a major development that'll get public hearings at Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. Do we have anybody in the audience or anybody on Zoom that wishes to ask a technical question or make a technical comment about this particular application? Seeing none in the audience, seeing none on Zoom, we'll entertain a motion.
So I'll, with all that being discussed, I'll make a motion that we continue this project to the next regularly scheduled TRC meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second to continue this project to the November 18th Technical Review Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the next meeting, subject to outstanding comments. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And that moves us to item number 6, the Rosa Del Mar Master Conceptual Plan Modification. This is a major development review by Stephen Schoen. Stephen, if you could briefly introduce it for us.
Yes, this is a major development application submitted by Steve Hall on behalf of 30A Lofts LLC, requesting a modification of an existing master conceptual plan for mixed-use development fronting Highway 98, including an additional adjacent parcel with apartment housing and associated infrastructure on approximately 24 plus or minus acres. This project is located at the intersection of Mall Drive and Highway 98 and can be identified by the parcels in your staff report, which I would like to enter into the record.
So entered.
Thank you. This is a very similar situation. There are some outstanding planning and other staff comments. A recent resubmittal appears to have satisfied the great majority, at least from planning's perspective of the comments. I believe the agent is still, actually, no, he had to step out. So unless you have comments for me or questions for me, I don't know if we have time to wait for him or not.
Engineering comments.
No. I believe there's a few outstanding environmental and flood and planning are what's left in here. But like I said, the recent submittal or recent resubmittal appeared to satisfy many of planning's comments.
Um, we have all the technical review of that recent resubmittal in this staff report?
No, this, the resubmittal occurred after the staff report
After
was
these
due and
comments.
submitted.
Comfortable, do you feel that it addresses the outstanding comments?
From planning's perspective, I feel fairly comfortable enough to recommend a conditional approval. But I don't know how environmental feels about the outstanding ones remaining.
And the schedule for this one would be the December Planning Commission?
I believe so.
Like applicants here. Would the applicant like to speak?
Oh,
Well,
I was waiting for Steve Hall. I'm sorry.
good morning, John Nash with O'Connell and Associates. Steve did have to step out, so we have come forward to try to answer any questions you might have. Say that that there has been a resubmittal and that many of the comments that were associated with that will be handled in the development order stage, but we've responded to them. And if environmental has concerns, we can discuss them.
You feel like you've adequately responded to comments enough to move us forward to Planning Commission?
I do, yes, sir.
I was expected a yes from that question. So, on this particular one, in a motion. Before we do that, though, this is a major development, it'll get Planning Commission public hearing and BCC public hearings once it reaches that stage. Is there anyone in the audience or anyone on Zoom that wishes to ask a technical question or make a technical comment about this particular application at this time? Raise your hand on Zoom or in the audience. I see no hands up, so we'll close that portion of this item and we'll move forward with recommended motion.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure if you were waiting for mine or not. I would recommend conditional approval based on satisfying any outstanding comments that would remain.
Stephen, we've got a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Second.
We have motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is moved forward to Planning Commission, subject to satisfaction of any outstanding comments prior to advertising. Thank you, gentlemen. That moves us to item number 7, the Watersound Origins Phase 3, 62 lots. This is a major development reviewed by Renee Bradley. Good morning, Renee.
Out of my earrings. Good morning. This is a request approval for a final development order for major development. Been submitted by Innerli Engineering on behalf of Watersound Company. They're requesting 62 single-family lots and associated infrastructure on 32.54 acres as Watersound Origins Phase 3. The project site has a future land use and zoning of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center and is located approximately 11.2 miles from US Highway 98 and 331 to Watersound Parkway. And it's also identified by the parcel ID numbers in your packet. We'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered.
We only have 2 outstanding comments from planning on this project. One being waiting on a title search to come back to add to the survey, and the additional comment is in reference to just giving us a schedule of what's been built at this time.
The drawdown.
Yes, sir.
That looks pretty minor. Do we have a recommended motion?
I would recommend, sir, we move this forward to the December Planning Commission, dependent on all comments being met.
Thank you, Renee. We've got a recommended motion. We'll take, since this is a major development, we'll take the opportunity to invite any technical question or technical comment from any member of the audience or anyone on Zoom. Anyone in the audience or on Zoom this morning wishing to make a technical comment about this application? Seeing no one in person and no one on Zoom, we'll move forward with the recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
I'll make that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is moved forward to the next planning commission meeting in December, subject to satisfaction of outstanding comments. Thank you, and that will move us to item number 10. The Landing PUD Amendment number 2, request approved by final order as a major development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce it for us, please.
Yes, thank you. This is a major development order application submitted by Innerli Engineering requesting approval to add 15 loft units above the commercial space and reduce the amount of commercial use by 7,220 square feet on 11.74 acres with the future land use of residential and zoning of neighborhood infill. It's located on County Road 395 North, and there's no outstanding comments. It's ready to move forward to the Planning Commission. I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant if he has any comments.
So entered. Thank you, Tim. Comments from the applicant?
Good morning. I'm David Smith with Innerli Engineering, and I agree with Tim. There are no comments, and it's just a reallocation exercise, so no infrastructure is changing. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Any questions from TRC? Seeing none, this is a major development. We'll take a moment to invite any technical question from any member of the audience or anyone on Zoom. Anyone have a technical question or comment about this particular application? Seeing none in the audience, seeing none on Zoom, we'll entertain a recommended motion.
Motion to approve the project and move it forward to the Planning Commission.
Have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Seeing none, this item is approved to move forward to Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, staff. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second, and all in favor, please say aye.
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 Stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.